In this video, I will show you how to use the migration bundle generated by Transformation Advisor to deploy your application to OpenShift. So after you run the data collector and upload the collections to the Transformation Advisor, you will see this page for the workspace. So the first thing you may need to do is select what is your migration target. In here, I want to use the Open Liberty Docker images. So in your OpenShift, you need to make sure you installed the Open Liberty operators. Since during deployment, we will invoke this operator to do the deployment. In this demo, we will try to migrate the DB2 app to the OpenShift. So this application will connect to a DB2 database and try to insert some record to a database table. So you just click the migration plan, and you can preview some of the migration files. And also, it tells you that there are two binary files. One is your application file, the other is the dependency jar file. So you can click the download to download your migration bundles. So then you can extract this migration bundle. So in here, there is the deployment contains the deployment script. The Docker file is which file you can use to generate your Docker images. And in the target directory, this is the placeholder for your binary application. So we can directly copy the binary application to this target directory. So here is my application file. I just copy it to and I can remove this placeholder file. And also for the dependency file, it is under the lib directory. So this is the placeholder for the dependency file. So I can also get the file from my local to this directory. Okay. So in the config directory, it contains the server XML file, which will be used in the Liberty server. So you can see that the server configuration, it use a data source, try to connect to the database. And for the data information about database, we define the several environment variables. So for this environment variable, they have two categories. One is have the default value. The other is don't have the default value, like the sensitive data, like the DB2 name and the password, username, password. Since Transformation Advisor didn't collect any customer sensitive data, it don't have any default values for these. So for the environment variable has default value, we will create the config map for these variables. And for those one don't have the default value, we will create a secret. So you need to provide the real value for this secret file before you do the deployment. So in order to start to do the deployment, the first thing you need to do is just log on to your OpenShift server. So you can go to your migration bundle directory and do the login to the OpenShift. So if you want to use another project, you can create a new project. And here I will try to get the OpenShift image registry host name by invoke this command and store it into the variable. So we can just you can see this is the default image registry URL. So then you can just invoke the podman login to the default image repository. Okay, after that, you can directly build the Docker image. We use the podman build command to build the image. This will be the image tag. We'll use the image repository name. This is the project name, and this is our image name. So this will use the Docker file inside the migration bundle. So after building it successfully, we just invoke the podman push command to push the new Docker image to the OpenShift. So then you can, after that, you can go to the OpenShift UI to check the build, the images. And the image is already there. You can see it, and you can get the image repository ID for this image. So you can copy it. We need to use this to set this in our deployment script. So in our doc, make sure this is in the deployment directory or contains all the deployment scripts. In here, we use the customized features. So all the deployment scripts is under customize. So in the base directory, we have the application deployment YAML file. In here, we just need to replace the image reference with the URL we just imported. So this deployment will use the open liberty operator, and it will create a secret and also a config map. So we will define the config map, which contains all the environment variable with these default names. For the secret file, it is in the overlay. In the overlay directory, you can contains different set of your test data. So right now we are used the development. We call it created the directory called dev. Next time you may create a new directory to contain the environment for your test or something else for your for your staging or publish. So the DB2 secret file is under the dev directory. And since in this demo, we don't need to use any key store, we can remove it from this file. And for this value for the secret file, it need to be base 64 encoded. So you can just invoke this command, like echo your password and use the 64 encoding to encode it. So this is your encoded string. You can copy it and place it here. Then just save your change. So when you're going to deploy it, you need to go to your deployment directory and go to the kustomize directory. Then we will invoke the OC apply and also invoke the customer-k customer feature. In this time, you need to provide a directory. So in our, we want to use the overlay dev this directory for our deployment. So it will create a config map, it will create a secret, and it will deploy an Open Liberty application. So then we can go back to the Open Liberty in the workload config map. You can see it is created a DB2 app1 configuration. It contains the port number, like the database and database servers information. Also in the secret, it created a DB2 app war secret file, which contains the DB2 user and password. And for the installed application in the Open Liberty, you can, in their instance, you can see there is a DB2 app1 instance deployed. So it has the deployment, and also it creates a route for your application. It creates a service account for your deployment. So if you want to access your deployment, you can directly go to the route and you can click this one. This one will point to the your Liberty runtime and specify your context root. It can access your application like DB2. So it will connect the database and insert a record. So which means the application is running fine and running on the OpenShift. So that's it. It's simple as this. Thanks for watching.